Honorable Bloss.
No, thank you very much, Chair. My apologies. So, Chair, I promise I'm not going to take 12 minutes like everyone else. So, you must be fine, Minister. I'm going to be very short. I see all the members are taking 12 minutes. It looks like a trend. But look, Minister, I find the background of the police report to be a bit misleading, if I can put it that way. Because it says on the 18th of October, the illegal miners started coming out. And then you speak of a visit to Stilfontein of key government officials. And then you want to credit the rescue mission of the 12th to 18 January to that visit. But you don't give us a date in terms of when was this visit of the key government officials so that we can mirror this thing together. Because I've got an understanding that you didn't do the rescue mission out of your own accord or liking as government officials, but you were compelled by court. Because your original approach was to smoke out the illegal miners. And this is on record as well with the Premier of the Northwest. So Operation Valumgodi in its foundation, and especially at Stilfontein, was to smoke out the illegal miners. That's why you deprive them of food. And you had the court had to come in as well and compel you to say the communities around Stilfontein must be allowed to give these people food and water. You refused. And one of the earlier advices you had been given, which you also refused, was to embark on the rescue mission much more earlier. And you kept saying that it is not your prerogative to go and get those people because it is a risk to go there. But the courts disagreed with you. And when you embarked on the rescue mission, it proved correct that there could have been other means which have then avoided these deaths that would have happened there. Now, your report, Minister, also doesn't tell us out of the 98 deaths in terms of how many of these people were miners. Because if you tell us how many miners died in that Stilfontein mine, it will kill the narrative that you are running that says that the people who were there were just dangerous and armed. Because we also have it on record that there were a lot of minor children who were stuck there, who were also kidnapped, and they were there against their own will. And those that were people that were saying you must go and rescue, and you were supposed to go and fight against. Out of the 1,773 suspects, you only have 6 or 7 verdicts, according to your report. I hope I'm reading that correctly. So what's happened to the other 1,667? How many of those, again, were minors? Because somewhere in November, there were about 93 miners that came out of the shaft. Your report does not speak to that. So there's a lot of things that are not being said about this report, because I'm of the view that if this rescue mission had happened much earlier, we would have managed to save a lot of lives, and in the process arrest criminals. So to arrest criminals does not mean that we must apply apartheid tactics, that when we view people as criminals, we don't give them rights. We must smoke them out and deny them food. It's illegal, Minister, to kill people, even if we view them as criminals. It's illegal. And someone needs to take accountability for that. And maybe to end off, Chair, in the 2 minutes I've spoken, I'm confused in terms of how we establish. I see the report gives the nationality of everyone else. So how do you establish the nationality of these people if they're undocumented, including the 26 undocumented South Africans, if I read that correct as well? Because I think during the reports, I heard someone saying that some of these people who came out, we could not determine their nationality because they couldn't speak. So those that we do not know their nationalities because they couldn't speak. So how are we determining the nationality of these people for us to have this report in terms of where then they come from and all of that? And again, Minister, then the last point is this one of the guns. And I believe the non-disclosure of these guns that were recovered there also plays into the corrupt police officials that are within your department. Because these are the same guns that are used in money heist activities and all these illegal activities that are happening. Because guns are recovered by police officials, but they sell them back to criminals to go and commit more crime. So we see the report, Minister, and you're saying there's only one firearm that was recovered. But when as a minister, do you agree with that report that in that operation only one firearm was recovered? I don't think that is true. Thank you very much.
Greeted and thank you for the presentations. Minister, those that attended that got invited to the opening of that mine, attended the opening. Had you invited the committee, we would have been there. So we were not invited, so we didn't go, so we don't attend things that we are not invited to. So let's clear that one out, that we were not invited, hence our non-attendance. It's not that we show no interest, but we can't be held liable for an invitation. Quite, please. Thank you very much. On that, Chair, to the police, on your stats. Your stats shows all of the suspects that you have arrested. However, it falls short on stats that sort of your track and trace on where these products are being sold at. Because these minerals are being sold back into the formal market. So the report that you have noted here to us today falls short of that, and there's no reporting in terms of your work pertaining to that, in terms of what work specifically are you doing in track and tracing this illegal products or illicit products to find its way within the formal market aspects. Then on your stats yet again, and I think the Honorable Lorama spoke to it on the Honorable Zondi on the firearms, that you have only seized one firearm. That is inaccurate, and we all know it. And I think your report needs to be corrected in that regard, because there's much more sophisticated firearms that we know these individuals deal with within the illegal mining sector. So I think that that part needs some accuracy. And then on your explosives as well, part, have you track and trace where does these individuals buy these explosives from? Because if we look at the way of the mining, or how mining happens, it must be very sophisticated explosives that needs to be well regulated and found within well-regulated spaces, and not just on the black market. We are not talking here about a simple cricket type of thing, the way we normally used to call it, Minister. Those firelighters. We are talking here about massive explosives. So is the work that you have done in order to trace where does these individuals buying these explosives from, and are we holding those individuals accountable? Because there is also some mechanism to sort of trace in terms of getting us a step closer in combating this. Then in terms of collaborations with the local communities within the Stilfontein matter, was there any collaborations with the communities? Because one would have thought that the police would collaborate with local communities because they understand that area much better and they understand the surrounding much better. If there was any, and maybe perhaps we could have prevented some of these cases that have happened, and in the manner and in your main manner on how individuals have been removed and died under your watch, Minister. Was there any collaboration with communities to ensure that at least the removal of those individuals, or also to listen to them in terms of the surrounding areas and to combat those illegal activities in their areas? And then